Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel for a new video. Today I'm just going to show you how I've knitted this tiny cardigan. This is a super cute cardigan in my opinion, and it's very easy to make. It's not going to take very long, maybe a few hours, and it's size 0 to 3 months. Well, it's actually size newborn, but I'm confident it will fit a baby up to 3 months old. Of course, if you want to make it slightly longer, if you prefer that, so it will fit the baby for a bit more, you can just add some of these stripes as you work. I have used some white yarn. This is a chunky weight, and it's got merino wool and some polyamide, so it's very soft. And here I have a very soft wool. I have used a self-patterned wool, so the wool is changing its color by itself, which gives this interesting effect in my opinion. And as quantities for 0 to 3 months, I think I've used about 50 grams each, maybe less than that. I had a full skein here and I got about 55 grams left, and this one it was left over, so I can't tell you exactly, but I reckon about 55 grams also. So to be honest, you can use some scrap yarns as well. You can do different colors in these stripes and just create something really unique, or you can use color changing yarn like I did, and then you don't have to hide so many ends, because I've just carried the yarns here on the sides, so I didn't cut it for every stripe to help out with the ends at the end, to be honest, because you don't want to have hundreds of ends to hide. Yeah, this is it. You will need 5 buttons, or maybe 6 if you make it a little bit longer. And yeah, it's good fun to knit, and I hope you will enjoy it, and I hope you're gonna give it a go. Please remember to react to my video, and leave me a comment, or if you have any questions or problems during the work. I'm always very happy to read your comments and to reply and help everywhere I can. Yeah, this is it. Enjoy the tutorial and have fun knitting this little cardi. To begin this project, using my 4mm knitting needles and main color, or the white color in my case, I will be casting on 46 stitches. I will cast on using my crochet, which is also 4mm crochet, so the same like my knitting needles. But you can use any method you prefer to cast on. Any method will be fine. So just cast on 46 stitches. Like I said, I will be casting on using my crochet hook. I have a video, a short video presenting only this cast on method. If anyone is interested, the video is on my channel. So I will continue to cast on 46 stitches to begin. I have 46 stitches on my knitting needles, and what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to purl all the stitches. This will be a wrong side row if you would like. It's not included in the pattern. I'm just creating a little base for the beginning of this project. So I'm just going to purl all the stitches. I have reached the end of this row, so I've just purled my last stitch, and now I'm going to turn around and start counting some of the rows. Oops. This will be row number 1, and for row number 1 I am going to slip the first stitch, and then I'll start by knitting 2, 1 and 2, then purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and continue like this until the end of the row, in basically in double rib pattern. So knit 2, purl 2. I will be working in double rib for 3 rows, so a total of 3 rows. I'll finish this one plus 2 more. I have reached the end of my 3rd row and I have to purl 2. One thing I forgot to mention is I have 2 stitches for the edges, so the last stitch will be a knitted stitch. So I will always slip the first one and knit the last one. Because we're going back and forward knitting flat, I would like to have a nice edge forming. So this was my 3rd row in double ribbing. Next is row number 4, and it's a wrong side row. I will be changing for size 4.5 millimeters needle. So 4.5 millimeters I will be using for the rest of the project pretty much. And I'm on the wrong side. This is row number 4. I will just knit all the stitches except for the first one, of course, which I'm just going to slip, and then knit all my stitches. And I will be doing 3 rows like this because I would like to have 2 ridges of garter stitch. So knit all the stitches for rows number 4, 5 and 6, so a total of 3 rows. Completed row number 6, which was my 3rd row of knit all the stitches across. I'm going to turn around, and next is row number 7, which is the right side of the work row. And this is how the work looks like so far. This is the right side. So I've done 3 rows in double rib and then 3 rows in knitting all together. So now I have 2 ridges of garter stitch. Row number 7, I'll be changing for my 2nd color. In my case, that will be this blue, this beautiful blue. And I will not be cutting off the white one because I will be changing between the 2 colors every 4 rows for the pattern. Also, what we're going to need on the next row is stitch markers. Going to need 8 stitch markers to mark our increasing stitches. Okay, so blue yarn, it's now attached. What I'm going to do, I usually slip the first stitch of the row, but on this occasion I'm going to knit it because I'm changing the color, so I like all the stitches to be the same color on the next one. So I'll knit the first one, then knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I'll have a total of 6 stitches, 2, 4, 6. Then I'm going to place a stitch marker, knit my next stitch and place another stitch marker. So now I've marked my first increase stitch. It's gonna help with the shaping later on. Next, knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So 8 stitches from the marker, 2, 4, 6, 8. Place a new marker, knit 1, place another marker, then knit 14. So I'm just going to knit 14 across. I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. I'm just going to double check because it's very important at this stage, otherwise the shaping will be wrong. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm going to place another stitch marker, knit 1, place another marker, then knit 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Let's just double check. 2, 4, 6, 8. Place another stitch marker, knit 1, another stitch marker, and we should have 6 stitches remaining on this needle. 2, 4, 6. So I'm going to knit the remaining 6 stitches to complete this row. And that's it. So we change for color, for the second color, for blue, and next is row number 8. From now on all even number rows I will be doing increases just before and after each marker. So a total of 8 stitches will be increased on every even number row. So every wrong side row I will be doing increases for now to get the shaping of the cardigan. So row number 8, we are working now in stockinette stitch, which means on the wrong side rows I will be doing only purls. So I'll slip the first stitch and then I'll purl 5, 1, 2, 4 and 5. I have reached my first marker, so I'm going to do a yarn over, a simple yarn over, slip my marker across, purl the marked stitch, slip my marker again. I will do another yarn over because I'm just doing increases each side of this stitch. So when I reach the marker I do a yarn over and then I purl this one, slip the marker off, do another yarn over, now purl the stitches until I reach my next marker, and I'm going to do another set of increases. So I reach my markers. Before I slip the marker across, I'm just going to do a yarn over, then slip the marker, purl 1, slip my marker across, yarn over again. So the second increase on this set, purl all my stitches across, so like I said, on each row of increases we will be adding a total of 8 stitches, 2 stitches for each sets of the markers. I'm just going to purl. All the wrong side rows will be just purls. Most of the pattern is only stockinette. So I've reached my marker, yarn over, slip the marker, purl the marked stitch, slip the marker across, yarn over, continue to purl, I will not be showing the wrong side rows anymore because they will all be the same. Just purl and yarn over next to the markers, yarn over, slip the marker, purl my next stitch, slip the marker, do a yarn over again, purl until the last stitch, and I'm going to knit the last one for my neat edge to form. Once I'm gonna hide all these. Okay, turn the work around. Row number 9. Row number 9, it's an odd number, so no increases. I'm just going to knit the stitches across. Well, slip the first one, and I'm going to knit until I reach my first yarn over. Here it's going to be a personal choice. I will be working these yarn overs twisted because I do not want a hole to form. But if you wish to have a hole each side for cosmetic reasons, for example, you can just knit that yarn over normally. I do not want holes, so I just slip my marker, knit my mark stitch, I'm gonna slip the next marker off, and I have another yarn over here. Again, I'm going to be working this one as a twisted stitch, so I will not have a hole forming here. But if you prefer to have a hole on each side, it looks pretty. It's just on this project that I do not want a hole because I've designed this cardigan as a winter cardigan, so not as a lacy one. So that's why I prefer to be fully knitted, like not with lace holes. So I have another one here. I'll be twisting it and then knit, slip the marker, knit the stitch, slip the marker again, twist the yarn over. I have such a fluffy yarn that sometimes it's kind of difficult to see exactly which one is my stitch. So I'm going to continue to knit across until I reach the next yarn over, which again I'm going to twist. I believe you can knit it through the back. I just prefer to twist it because I think it gives a better tension to the stitch itself. But if you prefer, you can knit it through the back. I believe it will be the same result, maybe a little bit looser. So that's why I still prefer on this occasion to just twist it around. Sometimes if it's too loose, you can twist it twice if you prefer. Slip the stitch marker, knit my next stitch, slip the marker across, and I'm going to twist this one again. Once again, it's very fluffy, my yarn. It's beautiful and soft, but can be a little bit more challenging to knit with. Shame I lost the label, and I cannot even say what yarn it is anymore. I bought it from a yarn market. Okay, there it is. And I'm just going to knit. I'm gonna continue in the same way. Just knit across all my stitches. I reached another yarn over. I'm going to twist this stitch again, knit it, knit my mark stitch, slip the marker off, twist this yarn over stitch, and knit all the way until the end. That's it. Row number 9 is now complete. Next is row number 10. Like I said, it's a wrong side row, so it will be a row of increases. So slip the first stitch, then purl all the stitches until the marker is reached, yarn over, slip the marker off, purl, slip the marker, yarn over, purl again till the next 2 markers, and so on. So total increase of 8 stitches. I will meet you on row number 11 to show you what we do next. So I'm just going to do exactly what we did on row number 8. Just purl across and don't forget to do yarn over, so increases on each side of these markers. Row number 10 completed. I have finished with all the increases, and after this was the second row. Number 10 was the second row of increases, and we increased a total of 16 stitches plus 46 that we started with. We should have a stitch count of 62 stitches at this point. Next is row number 11, and I will be reverting to the white color. So every 4th row we're changing color for this pattern. The first stitch I will knit on this occasion because I'm changing the color. So I'll be knitting this one. And then there is a little trick with this pattern. It's basic strips, but to add a little bit of texture, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to purl one. So I've knitted the first stitch because I'm changing the color. Next is purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. So starting with this row, on every row when we're going to change color, we're going to do 1 row of single ribbing pattern, basically. So I've just purled one. Next is a knit one, and now I have to purl one, but I have here a yarn over, so my increase, I'm just going to twist it maybe 2 times because it's a little bit loose. So I've twisted twice. The previous one was a knit stitch, so now I'm going to do a purl. So I've twisted it and now I'm going to purl, slip the marker off. Next I need to do a knit stitch to follow the pattern, move the marker across. So I've done a knitted stitch. Next I should do a purl one. Again, this is a yarn over, so I'm going to twist it. Maybe I'll twist it 2 times because it's a little bit loose. So I've done a knitted one. Now I'm going to do a purl stitch, and I'll continue with knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. This is happening only on change color rows. Everything else remains the same. Knit one, purl one, next I have to do, so yeah, that's fine, purl one. Next is a knit one, so I'm just gonna twist this one around and then knit, slip my marker because I've just done a knitted one. Next will be a purl, slip the marker. Next stitch will be a knitted stitch, but I need to twist it first. And then purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit and purl. That's all we need to do to give that nice texture. Just make it a little bit more interesting. Other than that, it's just stockinette stitch pretty much all project. So it's very easy. After a few repeats, this can be done in front of the TV, I guess. Purl one, knit one. Next is a purl one, but once again I need to twist it around because it's very loose. So I've done a knitted one, do a purl one, slip the marker, knit the next stitch, slip the marker. Next is a purl stitch. I'm just going to twist it around and then do a purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Just gonna finish this row together. Knit, knit and purl, knit and purl, and next one is a knit. Let's twist this stitch first, knit, slip the marker, purl the next one, slip the marker, knit my next stitch. Once again I need to twist it because it's an increased one, it's a yarn over one. Okay, so I've done a knit. I have here a little bit of blue that doesn't belong with the white. Okay, so I've done knit. Next is a purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, then knit the last one, knit next one and knit the last one. Just going to do that one again because again my fluffy yarn. Knit one, and I'm going to knit the last one, which is my edge stitch. This is it. Next is row number 12, wrong side row. Now even if we did one row of single rib, now going on the wrong side nothing has changed. We're just going to continue to do purls and increases on each side of these markers. So we continue in the stockinette stitch. This one with the simple rib we only do when we change colors, so we're going to do it again when we change from white to blue. For now, slip the first stitch, purl all the stitches and yarn overs on each side of the markers. Nothing else has changed. I'm just doing purls, yarn over, slip my marker, purl, slip the marker, another yarn over, and so on. I'll continue until the end of the row. Row number 12 completed. Next is row number 13. Again, it's an odd number, so there are no increases. What I'm going to do, just knit across, and always remember to twist the yarn overs. So I'm just going to knit across, nothing else, except for the twisted yarn overs, because I do not want holes to form. That's it. Slip the markers, continue to knit until the end of the row. I have completed row 13. Next is row number 14, wrong side of the work. Once again, it's slip the first stitch and purl all the stitches across, making increases on each side of these markers. So again, we're going to increase 8 stitches. So continue to purl, yarn over on each side of the two markers. So yarn over here, purl this one, slip your marker, another yarn over here. I'll meet you on the next row. Row number 14 is now complete. Next is row number 15, and we changed color on row number 11, and I did say on every 4th row we're going to be changing the color. So 11 plus 4, that's 15. So now I have to change color, and of course we've just been working with white, so next I'm going to be working with blue. Nothing else is different. I'll be working in the blue color. So like I said, I'm reverting to the blue color. Again, I will not cut off the white one. So both of them remain attached because I hate hiding ends. So taking the blue one, I'm just going to knit my first stitch. I won't be too worried about this bit. So knit my first stitch, and then if you remember when we changed color here, I said we will be working one single rib row. But what I like to do now is to coordinate with my previous row. So if we're looking where we have these bumps, little loops here, that was a purled stitch. Where we have these V's, that was a knitted stitch. And there we go, we have this one here, like a round loop. So I will try to coordinate that, and if I've done a purl on the previous color change, I will be doing a purl now, and then a knit, and then again a purl, and a knitted stitch, and a purl stitch, knit stitch, purled stitch. So I've done a purled. Next one will be knitted, because the difference is we have some increases, but all the increases are multiple of 2, because on every row of increases we're multiplying the work with 8 stitches. 8 divides by 2, so technically it doesn't really affect our pattern, but we just have to be I just have to be careful. So I've done a knitted one. Next will be a purl, but I'm going to twist this one around and once again, maybe 2 times. No, once will be fine. So I'm going to do a purl. This was my increase stitch. Whoops, I lost my marker here. So I've done a purl. Next is a knit, exactly like it was previously. I'm going to do a knit, slip my marker. Again, because I've done knitted, next will be a purl. I better twist this one 2 times because it seems to me like it's very loose. I don't want a hole forming in there. There we go. So I twisted it twice, and now I'm just going to purl it. Next is a knit. Next it's a purl. Yeah. So I've done a purl, knit, purl, and also coordinates with my previous one because I have here a little bump. So purl, knit, purl, knit, again purl. By coordinating these, it will give a prettier texture to the finished pattern, and it will make these colorful stripes a bit more interesting, I think. So I've done a knitted stitch. Next is a purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then next one will be a knitted stitch, but again it's an increased one, so I'll be twisting it around maybe 2 times. Yeah. So I've done a purl. Now I'm going to do a knit, slip my stitch marker. Next I'm going to do a purl stitch, slip my marker, and next I need to do a knitted stitch, and for that I'm going to twist my stitch around. Next is so I've done a purl, a knit, a purl, knit stitch, purl stitch, and so on until the end of the row. I'm just going to continue exactly the same way until I complete my row. I have completed row number 15. So this is how the work looks like so far. Maybe like this will be better. Yeah. So it looks like this so far. Sorry for all these yarns. And next is row number 16, which is going to be another row of increases. It's starting to take shape now, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to continue working in the same way, changing color every 4th row. So I've changed it on row number 15. Next change will be on row number 19, then on row number 23 and 27 and 31. I'm gonna carry on like this until, let's do a little measurement here. So I'm going to measure not from the beginning of the work, but from the beginning of the increases. So I'm just gonna pick a random stitch. Let's pick this one. And I'm just gonna follow it through until we started with the increases. So this was the first row. So let's measure in centimeters. And I have here, excluding the stitches on the needles, I have 3 centimeters. So one repeat of this pattern, in my case, has 3 centimeters. I'm going to carry on until I have around 9 centimeters. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to complete this blue line and then make another white one and then another blue one, and then I'll meet you on the next white one. So continue to work until you have a total of 3 blue lines, and then I'll come back and show you what we're gonna do next. I went ahead and completed the 2 more blue lines or stripes, and this is I just finished row number 24. Next will be row number 25, so going around will be row number 25. I've changed color here on row number 23, and I want to do a little measurement, but before we do a measurement, a stitch count will be useful, I think. So here for the sleeves, between the 2 markers, I have 30 stitches. So here I have 30 stitches for the sleeves between the 2 markers, and here I have the same 30 stitches. Here I have 17 stitches, 17 and 17 here, and for the back between the 2 markers I have 36 stitches. In terms of measurements, it's kind of difficult because the work has enlarged now, but I'll try to do a measurement. So for the back I have around 19 centimeters. I'm measuring as straight as I can, but of course the work is not very relaxed, so I go about 19 centimeters between the 2 stitch markers. Let's see, for the increases, let's pick this stitch and I'll measure over this stitch over here. So I was after around 9 centimeters, and I have almost 9 centimeters with a few millimeters. Again, work it's not very relaxed as the cable is too small. So I have nearly 9 centimeters, around 8.5 centimeters, but I'm okay with that. So what I've done, I have completed this blue line and then worked 2 rows into the white one. And next is row number 25, and I'm on the right side of the work, and I will separate the stitches now for the sleeves and for the main body of the work. So this is row number 25, right side of the work, no increases. I'm just going to slip the first stitch and then knit across until I reach my first marker. So I will just knit all these. I have a total of 17 stitches on this front half. This is half of the front of the cardigan. Okay. Here I have a yarn over, so my decrease from the previous row, I'm just going to twist it and knit it. Next I'm going to remove this marker, and I would like to keep this stitch with the front side, so I'm just going to knit it and pick it up. I can remove the next marker. I'm going to twist this one, but I'm not going to knit it. I'm going to leave it here. And next I will separate my stitches for the sleeve. This will be the first sleeve, and I'm just going to pick it up. I have here some cotton. It's a contrast color cotton, and I'm just going to use a piece of this, and I'm going to transfer the stitches on this cotton. I'll use this. This is a knitting needle, will do the trick. You can transfer on a stitch holder if you prefer, but I will use this piece of cotton. And I'm just going to transfer my stitches to work them later. This is where we're gonna work the sleeve. Later, after we finished with the main part of the cardigan, with the body of this little cardi. Okay. I'm nearly there. Here is my previous increase. I'm just going to twist it around and then I'll pick it up on my needle. There we go. I can remove this marker now. And the marked stitch, the one for increases, I am going to keep with the stitches for the back of the work. So it's staying on the needle. Here they are, my stitches are transferred now. I should have a total of 30 stitches on this piece of yarn, piece of cotton. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. I'm just gonna tie them into a little bow or something. I've been quite generous with this cotton. There we go. And I'm just going to keep them here to be worked later. I'm gonna continue now. So basically I've skipped these stitches. I'm just going to leave them there. And I'm going to continue knitting. And now I'm just going to join here. But before I do that, I would like to make some increases because we want a little bit of space here in the armhole, and I'm going to do some increases here on the main part, and then when I'm going to work the sleeve I'm going to do some increases there too. So to do that I will just do a knitted cast on. So I'm just going to put my needle through as if to knit here, knit the stitch but don't release it just yet, and pull this one, pick it up with your needle, and now I've cast it on one stitch. I have one stitch extra. I will be casting on 4. I'll do the same through this one, pull my yarn out, make it a little bit loose, and then pick it up with the left needle, twist it, and it's here. So that's my second stitch. I'll do the same, and I'm gonna twist. Here it is, my loop, and I'm just gonna pick it up through the back like this, so it will be a bit twisted. So I have 3 now, and one more like this, and then I will collect, and that's it. So I've casted on 4 extra stitches, which I'm just going to knit now. Two, 3, and 4, and this was my initial stitch, the one that used to be marked for increases. It looks a little bit loose now, so I'm just going to twist it around before I knit it. And knit. Now I can remove my marker. Here is the increase I had on the previous row, on row number 24. I'm just going to twist it around because I don't want a hole here, especially not at the armholes. And I'm just going to knit it after I twist it. Continue to knit across. I will just knit across until I reach my next marker, which is here. I have nearly reached my marker. I have here one of the yarn overs from the previous row, which I'm going to twist around and then knit. I can remove the marker now. I will knit the next stitch, which was the marked stitch, and I want to keep with the stitches for the back. I can remove my marker now. I will twist this one and place it back on the needle just before I transfer my stitches, because this is again another sleeve, the second sleeve, so I will do exactly the same like I've done here. I'm just going to transfer all the stitches on a piece of cotton. I have transferred my stitches for the sleeve on this piece of yarn, same as I done with the previous sleeve. And now I'm going to cast on 4 stitches again, exactly like I've previously done. So that is 1. I'm just going to pull my yarn a little bit tighter here. So pull the yarn as if to knit, but without releasing the previous stitch. So that's the second one. I'll do the same, as if to knit, pull my yarn and grab the loop on the needle, and last one, and grab my loop, and that's it. And now I'm just going to knit them. 2, 3, and 4. And this one, which was my initial one, I'm just going to twist it around and then knit. Remove my last marker. Next one was a yarn over from the previous row. I'm going to twist again this one too, and just knit. And now I will knit all the remaining stitches until the end of the row. And this was row number 25, the row when we separated the stitches for the main body of the cardigan and the sleeves. The sleeves I'm going to work later using the magic loop, so I'm going to work them in a round. Last stitch, and there we go. This is how the work looks like now. It's starting to take shape. Still a bit more left to work, but it's not bad. Of course, it's not finished off, and all these ends will be hidden and everything else. So this is how it looks like. This is going to be finished a little bit later, after I'm finished with the main body. So this is the work so far. I'm going to continue in the same pattern. I just want to do a little measurement now. So let's see. I'm going to measure here in the back because it's just easier as being in one piece. So far I'm going to measure from here since I started the pattern, so I'm not taking into my measurement, I'm not considering the neckline or the neckband if you want. Here is the collar, so I'm not going to include that one. And I'm going to start measuring from here, from my first blue row, and at this point I have around 8.5 centimeters, 8 centimeters, and I will continue working until I reach around 14, between 14 to 15 centimeters. So this is how much I'm going to work, until about 14 to 15 centimeters. So I'm going to finish this white line, and then another blue one, and then another white one, and another blue one, and probably that will bring me around 14 centimeters, 14 and a half, and then we'll be working the border, like the finish of the cardigan. So I will complete this white one, then do one more blue, one more white, and one more blue, and I'll get back to you. From now on there is no increases, we're just working in the pattern. Next row will be row number 26, and we're still working in white, but there will be no increases, so just purl all the stitches. Then coming back will be row number 27, I'll change for blue and work the pattern in blue, and then in white, and then again in blue, and I'll come back to you. I have now completed the rest of the work, like I said. So I finished off the white one that we was working on when we separated the sleeves. Then I've done one more blue, one more white, and now I'm just finishing off the last blue one. So I've just finished it. Next I'm gonna change the color on the next row. I've stopped counting the rows because from this point it's no longer necessary. I'm just going to do a little measurement here to see if I came up to about 14 centimeters, and I'm nearly there. I'm missing half centimeter pretty much, but that's fine because I still have to work the border, and it will be okay. So I'm nearly 14 centimeters, but I'm gonna carry on because otherwise if I do one more white line it will be too long for my liking. I don't want it to be too long for baby, so I'm gonna continue in white now. So I'm going to continue working in white. So at this point I can actually detach my blue yarn, so I'm gonna leave a bit of a tail so I can hide it later. And I have finished with the blue for the main body of the work, and next I'm going to continue in white. For that, so this next row I'm just going to knit my first stitch. So I'm continuing in the same pattern as I worked before, just to get the last line of this this funny pattern. So I've knitted my first stitch. Now I'm going to purl, knit, next one, purl, knit, and continue the same way until I finish my row. So do the knit, do the purls, next one is a purl, I'm going to purl, and I'll finish off my row. I have completed the row here. What I forgot to mention when we separated the stitches, on the needles I currently have 82 stitches. So 80 stitches for the main body plus the 2 stitches for the edges. I do apologize, I forgot to mention that. But since we segregated the stitches here for the sleeves and the main body, we haven't done any increases or decreases, so there's been 82 stitches all the way. Next row, it's a wrong side row. I'm going to slip the first stitch and then I'm going to knit across. So this time I'm going to knit, not purl. So I'm going to knit all the stitches all the way to the end of the row. I'm after a couple of ridges of garter stitch before I do the actual edge of the cardigan. So I'm just going to continue to knit all the way around. Garter stitches forming on the right side. So continue and knit all stitches. I have completed the row in knit stitch. Next is the right side row. Slip the first one and knit all the stitches across. So once again I'm just going to knit all of them. So just knit all the way around. I have completed the row. This is the last stitch. I just knitted the last one and now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to change for the 4mm knitting needles. Yeah, so I'm gonna use the 4mm to finish off and slip the first stitch and then knit all the stitches across. This is a wrong side row. And I'm just going to knit across, but in the same time I'm changing to my 4mm knitting needles. So I will continue to knit across this row. I have completed the row on the wrong side, and what I'm going to do next, I will introduce the double rib edge. So the same like I've done here for the collar. Just double rib. I will do the same here, but I will slip the first one because this is an edge stitch, and then I'll start by knitting 2, 1 and 2, and then purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and also knit 2, purl 2, and continue in this double rib until the end of the row. So I've knitted 2, next is purl 2, and so on. I have reached the end of the row here. I need to purl 2, so 1, 2, and I will knit the last one, which is an edge stitch. Then turn around, and of course, as usual for double rib, well, I'm going to slip the first stitch, and now I'm going to work the stitches exactly the way they present. So if they are knitted, I'm going to knit. If they are purled, I'm going to purl. So I have here knit 2, then purl 2. So this is the wrong side of the work. Knit 2, purl 2, continue exactly the same, and I will be finishing off with purl 2 and knit the last stitch. Once this row is finished, I'm going to do 3 more, so a total of 5 rows in double rib. So I'll finish off this one and then I'll do 3 more. I have completed all the rows in double rib, and this is how the work looks like now. And here it is. It's a little bit on the smaller side, so if you prefer, you can work it longer by adding 1 more set of the pattern repeat, but I'm happy with this because I've intended it to be a short cardigan. So the measurement is right now unblocked, unwashed, or anything like that. It's 16.5 centimeters. I'm considering the stitches on the needles because I'm just gonna cast them off, and so about 16 centimeters, 16.5. That's measured from the neckline down. So I am happy with this, and I'm gonna carry on and cast off. So the next row, the last row, it's on the wrong side of the work, and it's a cast off row. So once again, I'm on the wrong side of the work, and I'll be casting off. To start, I'll slip the first stitch, and then I'm going to purl my next one and slip the previous one over, then purl the next stitch, slip the previous one over, purl my next one. So I'll be casting off in purls rather than knitted stitches. So purl my next one, slip the previous stitch over. I'm just gonna do, I have finished casting off all my stitches, and I have here one last stitch left on the needle. What I'm going to do next, I'm not going to cut off this yarn, and I'm just going to enlarge this stitch for a little bit, and I'm just going to leave it here. What I'm planning to do now basically is to use the same yarn, which is still attached, and with my 4mm needles I just want to pick up the stitches here on this edge, so I can work the button band. Well, this is going to be the buttonholes band because I'm planning to do it for a little boy, so hopefully I got this right. I'm pretty sure the buttonholes must be on this side of the work. So I'm gonna leave this one here, and this will be my first stitch as I'm working through the band. This is the ugly side, so called, because this is the side where I have all these strands where I was carrying my colored yarn. I hope you can see, because I decided I'm not going to cut off my yarn every time I've changed color. I've ended up with these strands here on this edge, which I'm going to do my best. I have a few tricks in mind to basically work them through and hide them. I'm gonna start picking up stitches from here, from the top, so from the edge of the collar. I'm gonna try and start with the very first one, which is going to be a little bit tight and maybe not so pretty, but I want to collect this one. So it's going to form a nice edge here. So I'm going to start with this one, and next I'm going to collect this one because I have here a little bump, and that will give extra security. And then I'm planning to go on the edge where I was doing my slip stitches. I'm aiming for about 28-30 stitches. Let's see how it goes, but definitely an even number. And I have to pay attention, of course, because whichever number of stitches I'm collecting from this side, I will be collecting the same amount on this side. But on this side will be way easier because I don't have those strands here like I have here. So I have 4 stitches now. I'm just gonna carry on. I'm gonna pick, and now I should have 28. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Yep, that would be fine. So I have my 28 stitches, and I will be starting with this very first stitch, the one that was left after casting off. And I'm on the wrong side of the work, or the inside of the cardigan. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to purl these stitches. I'm going to start with the first one. I'm just going to purl. Next one, it's very loose. It's kind of loose on the needle, so I'm going to twist it before I do the actual purl to give a better tension. I'm going to do the same with the next one. I'm going to twist it, or you can also work it through the back if you prefer. But I prefer to twist them because I think it gives a better tension. They sit a little bit better afterwards. So I'm just going to continue to purl. Here I have another one. Let's have a little bit of blue inside too. Remember, we are doing this using the 4mm needles, not the 4.5. I just want to see how it looks like on the front side. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. I'm gonna continue. I reached a blue stitch. This is connected to this free end here. I'm just gonna twist it before I purl it. I'm gonna hide this end at the end into the blue section because it's quite visible otherwise. I'm gonna twist the next one before I purl it, and I'll do the same with all the, this one is not too bad, it's quite tight. The next one, yeah, next one can do with a twist for a better tension. But the blue one the same. I'm just going to twist before I purl it, and I'm just gonna have to do like this for every stitch. Just adjust the tension if it's needed, because some of them might be a little bit loose. And this is how it's looking on the right side. It's not the best looking edge. Let's try and twist this one and pull it a little bit tighter. So these ends are gonna sit here because they're on the wrong side of the work, so I'm just gonna leave them there. Otherwise the work itself is going to be too tight if I try to work them together. I already tried behind the camera, but it's too bulky, so the next best option is to just leave them there. They're not very visible, they're gonna be hidden on the wrong side of the work. I'm just going to twist this one, yeah. White one seems to be fine. This one is a little bit loose, so I will twist it around. And I'm going to continue purling all of them. Let's twist this one because it's kind of loose. It's going to form a hole. Same with the next one. Yep, same on this one. And once this row is completed, just nearly there now, this one is the last one. I'm just going to knit this one. I'm just trying to loose this one up a little bit. I'm going to knit this one because this one is going to be an edge stitch. Okay, so it's not the neatest edge that I've seen, but I still believe it's better than having too many knots to hide, which is going to make the whole work really bulky. Next, slip the first stitch, and now I'm just going to introduce double ribbing, the same like I've done here. Knit 2, 1 and 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. I'm just going to continue until the end of the row. I just purled 2, I'm going to knit 2 and knit my last stitch of the row. Okay, this is how it looks like so far. It's not very visible yet. I'm going to turn around and work on the wrong side, also in double rib. So I'm just going to work every stitch the way it presents. So purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. I'll continue until the end of the row. I have completed the previous row, and next what I'm going to do, I'm on the right side of the work. I will be doing some buttonholes, so I've just marked here the spaces where I'm going to do some yarn overs. These are the buttons that I've decided to use. I will be using 5. Initially I thought of 6, but they're going to be too close to each other and I don't want that, so I think 5 will be enough. So I've just separated my stitches kind of, so I've marked off where I need to do a yarn over, because a yarn over will be a buttonhole big enough for these buttons in my case. If you use bigger buttons, you might be better doing a double yarn over, which is going to create a bigger hole as a buttonhole. So I'm going to do only a simple yarn over, so I'm going to slip my first stitch, knit the next one. Here I put a marker in, which means I have to do a yarn over, so I'm going to do a yarn over, and then I'm going to knit the next 2 together to compensate for the yarn over. Next I'm going to follow my pattern, which is going to be purl 1, knit my next 2, purl 1. I have here another stitch marker, which means I have to do another yarn over, and next is a purl stitch, so I'm going to purl it together with the next one to compensate for my yarn over. Next is a knit 1, purl 2, so I'm trying to keep it as close as possible to the double rib, knit 1, remove my stitch marker, do a yarn over. Next is a knit 1, I'm going to knit 2 together, so I'm going to knit this one together with the next one, which is actually a purl, but in this case the pattern will be back to normal once I'm going to start working these yarn overs as normal stitches. So next just follow the pattern, purl 1, knit 2, purl 1. I have another stitch marker, which means another yarn over. Next is a purl stitch, I'm going to purl it together with the next stitch next to it, knit 1, purl 1, and here I just marked these 2 stitches together to remind me that I need to work these 2 together. So basically I'm going to do the decrease before I do the yarn over, because I don't want to have a buttonhole and a decrease right at the edge of this this buttonhole band. So I'm gonna work the decrease before I do the yarn over. So next is a purl stitch, I'm gonna purl it together with the next stitch. Here is my marker for the buttonhole, so I'm going to do a yarn over here and knit the last 2 stitches. And here it is. Turn the work around. I'm going to slip the first stitch, and now I'll be reintroducing my double rib, because I can still see how my stitches look like. So next is a purl 1, next is my yarn over, it's going to be another purl, then I have knit 2, 1, 2, oops, what happened here? I missed it. Knit the 2. Next I'm going to do a purl 2, 1, and I'm going to purl this one too, and then I have knit 2 because I'm including the yarn over. So go knit 1, knit 2, purl 2, I'm going to do next knit 2 because I'm just reintroducing my double ribbing here. So knit 2, next is purl 2, so one of the purls is the yarn over. I'm just going to purl through it, then knit 2, then I'm going to do purl 2, knit 2. So I'm not twisting my yarn overs because I want holes. Purl 2, 1, 2, knit my next 2, 1 and 2, and I'm going to end with purl 2 and knit my last stitch. So by doing so, we just have some little buttonholes, but we haven't made any increases. They're not very visible just yet, but once I'm going to work another row, they should be alright. So I'm just going to do one more row in double rib. So slip the first one, knit my next 2, 1 and 2, purl the next 2, knit 2, purl 2, 1 and 2, knit 2, purl the next 2, knit my next 2, here's my buttonhole, purl 2, purl 2 again, here it is, then it's knit 2, purl 2, knit 2 and knit the last stitch of this row. And with this I have 5 rows of double rib. Let's test the buttons. Yeah, going through okay. I'm gonna test each buttonhole. Yeah, this one is a little bit tight, but it will give in. Oh, dropping my button there. Yeah, it's going through. And this one, I hope it's a little bit tighter. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Next, after I completed these 5 rows, next I'm just going to cast off all my stitches like I've done here by purling. So slip the first one, purl the next stitch, pass the previous one over, purl the next one, pass the previous one over, purl one, pass it over until the end of the row. I have finished the cast off. This is how it looks like now. I'm just gonna detach my yarn and pull it through this last stitch or last loop and tie it in a little knot, and then I'm gonna hide this one at the end together with the rest of them. This is how this buttonhole band looks like. The inside is not perfect, but at least it's on the wrong side. And for the other side, so this one, I'm not going to film, but I'm just going to collect 28 stitches evenly spread across, and I'm going to start by the same like I've done here, one row of purls on the wrong side, so inside the cardigan, then followed by 5 rows of double rib stitch, and then cast off on the 6th row, cast off on the wrong side by purling all the stitches. So exactly the same like we've done here, but no buttonholes on this side, because that's the side where I'm going to be attaching the buttons. So I'm going to work it exactly the same way, and then I'll move on to the sleeves. I'll get back to you so we can do the sleeves together. I have completed the second edge exactly like I was saying, so I've worked exactly the same like on this side except for the buttonholes. So I haven't done any, but if you're doing it for a baby girl, so let's say you're using different colors, then you will be working the buttonholes on this side, and this side will be a simple one. So this is how it looks like. This is the inside of it. A bit more tidy than this one. And I also went ahead and I've completed one sleeve already. I've also hidden some of the ends, but they're still attached because I like to cut them completely after I washed after I washed the project. So I went ahead and finished one of the sleeves. So we're gonna do the second sleeve together. By using 4.5mm needles, I'm just going to pick up all the stitches that I left here on this piece of cotton, and I'm just going to transfer them on my needles one by one, and then once I finish doing that, I'm just going to pull out the cotton thread. So initially I've transferred 30 stitches on this cotton thread. So now before I remove the actual thread, I'm just gonna count the stitches to make sure I have 30 there. I will be working in the round, so using the magic loop, same like I've done here, so there is no sewing on this sleeve because it's been worked in the round. To do that, I'm going to try to collect the half of the stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, so that's exactly half. And then I'm going to pull my needle like this. So allow the cable some flexibility, and then I will continue so I can transfer the stitches like this. And now I can continue collecting the rest of the stitches. So I've separated in two, because for the magic loop technique we need to have the stitches half separated, and both needles would be tip by tip. So I have 15 on that one. I will count in a moment to make sure I have 15 on this one too. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Right, looks like I'm missing one somewhere. $14. Okay. There is my missing stitch. That was not an actual stitch, but it was an increase. So that was a yarn over, and here it is. Here it is, twisted yarn over. Okay, so I found my missing stitch, and now I'm just going to pull the cotton out. Before I begin working here, what I'm going to do now, because we can notice here, this is the area where I've casted on 4 stitches, but here there are some very loose stitches. So instead of casting on brand new stitches on my needles, I'm just going to pick up 3 stitches from this side and 3 stitches from this side here. We also have this thread here that has formed. That was probably my mistake. I haven't pulled the yarn tight enough when I was casting on, so then this thread here has remained visible, but I will be closing that gap as I work. So rather than casting on brand new stitches on each needle, I have decided it's best to just collect 3 stitches here and 3 stitches here before starting working. I've done the same on the other sleeve, and it worked out quite okay. Not to mention there are some very loose stitches here, and that will help with adjusting the tension here. So I'm just going to pick up 1 stitch from here, this very loose stitch. So I'll take this one and maybe this one as well. Even if it's not very loose, it's gonna help out with correcting the tension problems here. And maybe this one here. And I will make 3 stitches. And then I will do the same on this side. So I already have this that used to be a yarn over, and I don't want to collect this one here, but I will be collecting one from here and these 2. So now I have a total of 36 stitches on my needles, because I had 30 and I've just collected 3 and 3 on each side. That will make a massive difference in the armhole area, where we're gonna close all those tension issues and those gaps that are forming. Now I'm going to start working, and last time I have made the changeover for the color and then 1 more row, so I still have to continue in white color to complete the pattern. I'm just going to pull this needle out to work in the magic loop technique. My cord is actually a little bit too short, but it will be fine. So I'm just going to start working, and I'm going to knit all the stitches. I'm gonna make here a loop. I'm going to start work here, and I'm going to knit all the stitches across. I'm just leaving a few centimeters tail here, because that might help to tidy up the armhole area when I finish. So as I going to hide it, I will probably adjust a few things here and there. So I've just knitted one. Also, when I notice I have some tension issues, I will swap the stitch like the next one. Next one is very loose, so I'm just going to twist it around before knitting. This is quite common in the armhole area. Sometimes work is not exactly perfect, so, and even so, it's a lot of tension around here by just moving stitches around and changing it. And and pulling them each side, and then sometimes they might end up either a bit too tight or very tight, or sometimes very loose, but it's nothing that cannot be corrected. I'm just knitting across. I'm on my last stitch on this needle, so now I'm going to pull the cable, turn, not literally turn, but continue with the stitches on this side, pull my needle out. This, in the magic loop method, this is always the needle, the working needle, and I'm just going to move across the next set of stitches, and I'm going to closely knit, so I'll avoid having a big gap here. I will knit closely. I can even pull my yarn a little bit just to make sure it's not too loose, that stitch, because otherwise the area where I'm changing over between the two needles will be very visible and a ladder will form there, and I don't want that. I will continue knitting here until I reach the end of the row, where I have to work those newly collected stitches. Here's some blue. Right, so this was a yarn over before I changed. When I was working still on the body of the cardigan, there was an increase there, so I just twisted it. I'm going to do the same with the next stitch because it's quite loose. I'm just going to twist it before I work it. Same with the next one because I'm not happy. It's a little bit loose and I don't want a hole in here, so I'm just going to twist it around before I knit it. And there we go. And the last one too. With the last one, I'm going to pick up this strand here. It was hiding in there. And I'm going to knit both of them together. This way I'll get rid of that as well. There we go. I have here a little hole forming because some of the stitches were still a bit loose, but when I'm going to hide this end here, I will tidy up any tension problems. I'm starting a new round, or a new row in the round. If you find it helpful, you can place a stitch marker here for the beginning of the row. I will not be using one, so I know that here at the armhole I'm just starting a new row. And the next row is also knit all the stitches. So once again I'm going to bring my work closer, so both of them to be quite close. This is still related to the tail, so I can adjust the tension there. So I've knitted my first stitch, as close as I can from the previous row, and I'll continue knitting. All the way around. So I'm just gonna repeat that. Now I have 36 stitches on my needles compared to the 30 that I've started with. I have now 36. And I will complete this row just by knitting every single stitch. Again, I completed that part. I'm just pulling the needle, straighten the stitches, pull the second needle, and continue to knit. Again, I'm going to keep the stitches close together here where I bypass the two sections, and pull the yarn a little bit, not too tight because it might be difficult to maneuver the stitches. And once I completed this, it will be the end of my row. And then based on the pattern that we've been following for the entire project, next I will be changing the color. So I will be reintroducing blue, and I will also try to follow an existing pattern. Here we go, that was my last stitch. I'm just going to pull that aside like this, and this will be my working needle once again. I'm just going to introduce blue. Here I got my blue yarn, and I'm going to try and identify how I can carry on with the actual pattern. So because I cannot see much here because these are newly added stitches, I'm going to go back here, and here I had a purl. So this, normally if I want to keep the same pattern, this will be a purl. So I'm going to go backwards. So I have a purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. So I'm going to start with a purl stitch here, and then knit, purl, knit, and then there will be a purl, and from that point onwards it's just I'm going to be following the normal pattern, because by doing it this way there will be no change going down the line from the shoulder onto the actual sleeve. So I'm going to leave here a little bit of a tail, just enough so I can hide it later on, and I'm going to start with a purl one. Okay. Once again, I haven't detached my white yarn. My white yarn is still here because I'll be changing it around as I go, like we done for the entire project. Next is a knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, which is matching this one, going down on the shoulder area, purl one. Next is a knit one, purl one, knit one, and I will be going around like this. Pattern has remained the same. It's just that I'm working in the round now, so we no longer have wrong side rows of purls, but everything is knitted, or knit and purl, knit one, purl one for the actual pattern. So purl one, knit the next one, purl one, knit one. Again, I need to transfer the stitches like this, twist my work around, pull this needle out and continue. So I've done a knit one, so next is a purl one. If I ever lose count, I can always guide myself based on the previous color change row. So next is a purl one. Again, I'm going to try and hold my stitches as close as possible so I don't have a huge gap forming there. I don't want a ladder forming in the area where I'm changing. But having a purl as a first stitch after I change, it's not ideal. And knit one, purl one, knit one, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1 until the end of the row. I forgot to mention, if you dislike the magic loop method, you can use double pointed needles if you prefer. I'm not a big fan of them because I don't know, my work doesn't end up being very tidy when I use them. I end up with lots of ladders forming in my work, so that's why I kind of try to avoid them. I don't know why, I just when I have to work in the round like this, I prefer this method. Right, so this row is completed now. I'm going to continue in the pattern, the same like we done until now for the entire project, but of course, because now I'm working in the round, I'm not going to be purling any wrong side rows, because we're not working on the wrong side, we're just working on the right side. So all the rows, all the rounds will be knitted, except for the color change when we have knit 1, purl 1. I'm going to complete this strip in blue, and then I will be doing one in white, and after that I'll change again for blue, and I'll come back to you because I'm going to do some shaping of the actual sleeve, so some decreases. But now I will be, we are here, so I'll be finishing this one in blue, working one more in white, and then I'll be changing again for blue. So I'll meet you there. I have completed the blue stripe followed by the white one, and now I've just finished my round for changing color again for blue, and I'm now ready to start a new round. What I'm going to do on this round, I just want to decrease a total of 4 stitches across the sleeve, so I will be doing it this way. I'm just going to knit 7. So I'm starting a new round, so knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 2, 4, 6, 7, and next I'm going to knit 2 together. This yarn got to a point where it's extremely thick, so knit 2 together, loosen up a little, and then knit 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, knit 2 together again. So these two I'm just going to knit together. I hope you can see, because this is a dark color, this dark blue, but hopefully against the white it's quite visible. Now I have to continue with the other half of the stitches, so I'm still on the same round. It's just the other half of the stitches. I've just knitted 2 together, so now I'm going to knit 7 again. 1, I'm just gonna adjust the tension here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, followed by knit 2 together again. So this is the third decrease, so we have one more to do. Knit 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and we should decrease the last 2, so it's fine. and knit the two together. Oops, I got some white. I've been splitting the yarn, I believe. There we go. Okay, so that's done. Next two rounds, just knit all the stitches, and I'll meet you again when we're changing for the white color. So now 2 rounds as usual in the pattern, just knit all the stitches around. I'm just going to adjust the tension. So I'm starting a new round here. Like I said, if you find that helpful, you can always place a stitch marker or a start of the row marker, so there will be no confusions. Right, so I'm going to knit all the way around and then one more row as well. I have completed the 2 rows in blue, and now I'm ready to change color. So I will be doing 7 stitches in the pattern. So I'm starting with purl 1 like I had on the previous row, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, 2, 4, 6, and next is the purl 1. And now we can see where I've done that decrease. Now the stitches are basically overlapping, so if I'm going to follow this pattern, I should purl 1, so it'll be 2 purls next to each other. So I will be doing another set of decreases on this row, so I'm going to decrease another 4 stitches. So I've done 7 stitches in the normal pattern, and now I'm going to knit these 2 together. And by doing this, I'll be following the pattern. Purl 1, knit 1, continue, purl 1, knit 1, I have 2 stitches, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's here, and there we go. I've done a knitted one, and next I should be doing a purl 1, but that purl 1 has disappeared because it's been decreased. So I need to work the next 2 stitches together, but I have a little situation here because one of my stitches is here and the other one is here, and I need to work them together. To correct that, I will just do this. So I'm just pulling my needle out like this, and I will move the cable through here. So I will be pulling my cable through here, and that will bring my 2 stitches on the same needle like this. So now I can actually work them together. So I've just knitted 1 stitch, this one. So next there will be a purl 1. So I will be doing a purl 2 together. So these 2 will be purled together. This is the second decrease, and I'm keeping the pattern as well. Swapping around. So I've just done a purl 1 here, well, purl 2 together. Now I'm going to do knit 1. I just need to keep these stitches as close as I can, so I'll avoid the ladders. So knitted 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and the next one. the knit one has disappeared because it's been decreased. So I'm going to knit these two together for 6, and now number 7 I will do a knit 2 together through the front like this. There we go. Continuing the pattern, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and then knit the 2 together, the last 2 stitches. I have 2 stitches here, I hope you can see, and I'm going to knit them together. And this was the last decrease, and now I have 28 stitches on my needle. So I started with 36 after I took over the 30, and then I picked up the 6 stitches. I had 36. I have decreased here a number of 4, so I had 32 left. Now I've decreased another 4, so I have 28 left. Next I will continue in the pattern without any other decreases. I'm just going to finish off this white part, the same like I've done here. So we have 1, 2 made, 1, 2. So I'll finish this white one, do another blue one, white one, and blue one, and I'll meet you here. So we have a total of 4 blue ones. We done 2, so another 2 left to go, plus the white ones in between. So I'll be finishing this one plus 1 more, so 2 whites, 2 blues to do, and then we'll be changing for the last time, and I'll meet you here for this change. No more decreases, just continuing the pattern for now. I have continued and finished off the 2 blue ones, and now the next will be the last color change for white. So now I can actually cut off the blue yarn because I no longer need it. I will leave a few centimeters of a tail, so it will be easier for me to hide it at the end. And that's it with the blue color for now. And I'll continue for the rest of the work in white. I am ready to start a new round. I'm just gonna tuck this inside, same like all the other tails, and then I will finish off. So for the next color change, last color change for white, I will just be knitting in the pattern. So starting with the purl 1 here, so I'm just going to purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. I will just finish off this round. So continuing the pattern, changing the color like we've done so many times already. And then once I finish this round, I will do one more of knit all the stitches. So I'll finish this, and then I'll knit one more round, just simple knit in white. I have completed the color change round plus one more round in knitted. Next I will be knitting all the stitches, but I am changing for size 4mm needles. So for working the last part, I'll be changing for 4mm. Now the way I'm going to do this, so I'm starting a new round here. I'll just knit all the stitches using my new needle, the 4mm one, and I'll be knitting all the stitches on this side. Okay, so done. And now I just need the other stitches to be on my 4mm needle. So for that, I'm just going to push all the stitches at the end of this needle, and I'm just gonna transfer them on my 4mm before I work them. Might be another way of doing this, I don't know. This is how I've been doing it. So I'm just gonna move them across. And release my 4.5mm needle. That's it, I'm done with it. And now I have my needles in the right position for continuing in the magic loop. So I'm just gonna pull my working needle and continue to knit to finish off my round. These needles have attached a longer cable, so it makes it way easier to work in the magic loop. So I'm just gonna finish off this round. And that's it, last stitch. So now I actually worked all of them with the 4mm needle. I'll continue in the round for one more round, just knitting all the stitches. They're a bit tight here. So now I'm starting a new round. I'm at the armhole side. I'm starting a new round, so I'm just going to knit all the stitches for another round. I have completed that round, and now for the very last bit of this sleeve, I just going to work 5 rows in the double rib pattern. So exactly what we did here, I'm going to work 5 rounds in the double rib, starting with knit 2. So this is my new round. I'm starting a new round here, and I will start by knit 2, followed by purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and I will be doing a total of 5 rounds like this. Nothing changes. I'm just going to do knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, going in the round for 5 rounds. I have completed the 5 rounds in double rib, and now I'm ready to start the last round, which is a cast off round. So for that I will be slipping on 1, then knit my next one. This time I'll be casting off by knitting the stitches. So pull my last one over, knit the next one, pass the previous one over, knit one, pass it over, knit one, pass that one over. Because all my rounds are on the right side, I'll be doing it by knitting my stitches, and this is the edge that's going to result. So I'm just going to carry on to finish this off. I have finished casting off. I have here my last loop. I'm just going to cut off the yarn, pull it through this last loop and tie it in a little knot. And what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to join these two parts here so we don't have this gap. I'll do that using a needle. Let's hope this one will be good enough. Yeah, or big enough. So I'm just going to join in here. And then here as well. Just to cover for this gap. I splitted my yarn here. There we go. And now it's complete. I will be hiding this end on the inside of the sleeve. Talking about the inside of the sleeve, I'll just like to show you how it looks like. Now we finished with the knitting. Now it's just the finishing touches, like hiding ends and everything like that. I'll just turn both of them inside out. Here I have all these ends which are actually waved in, but I don't cut them off until I actually wash the garment. Just in case they become a little bit loose, then I have enough extra to just wave them in again. Just in case. Normally they don't, but just in case. I just wanted to show you here. So this is going to be the one to be hidden as well. I will be waving this one in as well. So just hide it in as best as I can. But what I want to show is this blue one. Obviously we're going to hide it somewhere in the blue bit. Little cardigan is now blocked. I'm just going to unpin it from here. This is how it looks like now. It spent about 10-12 hours drying, which felt like an eternity, but it's now ready, so I thought we're gonna unpin it together. This is how it looks like now. Next I will attach the buttons that I have here. I will use only 5, and I'm using 2 strands of the white yarn, and I'm going to attach the buttons to correspond the buttonholes. Buttons now attached, and with this our little cardigan is now complete. I have hidden all the ends and just tidy it up and attach the buttons here, and it's now finished. So this was it. This was today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you're gonna try this one. Remember, you can use any color you prefer, so it's very versatile, and you can adapt it for boys, girls, and it's very easy to make. I hope you like it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any of my new videos, and thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.